Hey, good morning. Today we're going to talk about, here's what we've been doing. I've been sharing some of the mistakes that I've made in building my business, and I've been thinking about this last one. And I just feel like I almost want to throw my notes out, which I'm going to. I want to speak just really directly from my heart on um, just summarizing really all the lessons that I learned. And I guess the biggest lesson that I take away and that I've really been working hard on is learning to trust myself. So I know I mentioned that a little bit in not another podcast, but probably on a podcast, and just imagine it's coming. Sometimes I talk about like share from the scar, not the scab. So I'm sharing today from like some of the scars, they're almost healed, but all these mistakes, right? I just want to pour into you that some of the mistakes I made were just being so mired. It just chokes me up. I'm going to tell you, I feel choked up being so mired in doubt and fear. And I know I talked about those on the other mistakes, but I just feel like this is the most important one and it's worthy of going deeper into. And it's just like our fear. And I'm actually going to teach you the fear breakthrough formula right now so that you have this. And this is something that I use. And have you ever created some tools, right? You create these tools and you're like, that's really good. And then you use it for a little while and then you don't. So the fear breakthrough formula, I'm teaching this to you today because I've been using it more and more. And here's the truth. I've been terrified out of my mind sometimes even to show up today, right? Not today. Today I'm excited to just give from my heart to your heart, right? Wishing you were here, sitting here, and we could have a cup of tea. Your fear, my fear. Oh God, I feel such deep compassion for myself for the amount of terror and fear and paralysis that I went through, grew through over the last 8 years of having my business. And here's the honest bottom line. Some of it comes from like my childhood and a lot of trauma that happened in my childhood. And that thread pulls through to today. And then there's plenty of times I'm like in my frontal lobe, my prefrontal, like I am making the right decision. And then there's other times that I'm just like cowering in the corner, so to speak, of my own mind. And I know that happens for you too. I know this happens for a lot of clients and a lot of women. And I'm here to help you create the big, bold life and biz that you want, to lead a life in common, to have you help you have whatever the hell you want. And so it's working through your worry, your fear, your uncomfortableness around your truest desires. Maybe sometime in your life, somebody's laughed at your desire. Maybe you have this big, amazing goal and dream, and there's something so huge inside of you that you want to give to the world. And yet, I want to help you today, give you something that's tactical, that's actionable, to help you fully step into being more of that solid adult in your adult mind, knowing that you've got something to share. Right? So I want you to imagine right now, even saying that to yourself, like say it in your own mind's eye right now. I have something amazing to share. What comes up for you? Is there a moment of doubt? Is there like, no, you don't? Is there something like it's not good enough? And then how does that feel in your body? How can we work through that? So here's the fear breakthrough formula. And so, like I said, this is one of the things that I didn't do enough. Was one of my mistakes, right? Is ebb and wane of really being focused on how to overcome some of my fears about showing up personally. So the fear breakthrough formula, write this down. FEAR. The F stands for your feelings. So when you're thinking about building your business or losing 20 pounds or doing the big goal, really leaning into your truest desires, like what's the feeling that comes up? Probably you have some feelings of excitement, anticipation, that you feel elated, hopeful, full of possibilities. But then when the fear creeps in, you might feel doubt, confusion, worry. What comes up for you? Write that down. Be really honest with yourself around that. Then the E stands for, what is your expectation? I think that so often when we have this big desire and we have this goal, is that sometimes our expectations of the time allotted and allowed for creating it, manifesting it, making it happen, whatever word you want to use to make it like in the flesh, like that's what you need to understand. What is your expectation? Do you have a sense of expectancy? Like, of course I'm going to hit that goal. Of course I'm going to lose that 20 pounds. I do what I set my mind to. Or do you have an expectation that truly is unfounded? Maybe it's something like, "Well, my God, I just put up a Facebook post or something on Instagram and I think I should have all of this following, all of this." So is your expectation anchored in like some level of truth? And so what I mean deeper on that, let's even go deeper on that. Sometimes it's maybe that you literally don't know what to expect. And in that unknowing, that creates some of that angst because you see everything all shiny and perfect out in the world and you think, well, that you can't put it up that way. You should have results more quickly. So the first one is, what is your feelings, right? The fear breakthrough formula. F is for feeling. How are you feel? Write your goal at the top. My goal is to. I don't care what. My goal is to be a better mom. My goal is to, I know I like when I was the first a mom, I was terrified I was gonna like drop my baby or something horrible, right? Like, are you afraid to lose that 20 pounds? Who are you going to be? What's your husband going to say? What are your friends going to say? Like, what feelings come up with you? If you want to write a book, if you want to do your first Facebook lives, if you want to like go on LinkedIn, create a YouTube channel, like show up in the world, what are your fears around that? What are your feelings of if you could have the result, that excitement versus, oh my God, can I do this? And then what's your E is for expectancy. What do you expect? That's really valid. Do you expect you're not going to follow through? Does your brain come in and swoop in its like protective state to be like, oh my God, you never follow through with anything. You're not going to follow through with this. Like really be concrete and write these things down. Then I want you to, the third letter A is, what is your attitude? What is your real attitude about this? Look, I'm going to tell you behind the scenes about what's been going on with myself and some of my friends in the online space. Things have changed in the face of COVID. Things have changed. Let's get into truth. Things have changed in the face of COVID. Like everybody and their sister now is coming online or doing whatever. And so for those of us who have had businesses for a long time pre-COVID, which I have had my business 8 years. By the way, I was pulling this out. I wanted to show you, and this is just a side note because this is how I do. See this picture? Oh my God, this is me in the newspaper when I was in my relationship coaching days. I'm getting ready to do a 5-day social media visibility challenge for people. And I want to show them, and this ties into the attitude, I want to show them that I did build a successful relationship coaching business before I started going into business consulting. And now, as you know, really it's like success and leadership mentoring with the Lead a Life Uncommon brand. Love that. If you're watching that podcast, I want to say, listening to that podcast, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're not, can you go start listening to it now and give me some reviews? I mean, I'm getting such amazing comments. I'm pouring my heart and soul into it, and I'm looking forward to where this is headed. Okay, back to attitude. Like, what is your attitude? So some of the behind the scenes with some of my friends, what happens sometimes if things aren't going exactly right, or there's been a shift, it's kind of like sometimes you can get that negative, whiny attitude, right? They're like, me, 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 me. So the other day I was like, stop. I can't keep listening to this. Because, sometimes you can fall into it with people, right? That complain and whining attitude. And that's not how I choose to show up in my life. I'm not saying that I don't objectively talk about issues, but I come prepared with solutions. And we have to really be conscious of what our attitude is. Do you have an attitude of gratitude? Do you have an attitude of, oh my God, this business, even if it's new and it's challenging, or even if you're scaling or growing or adding team, or you've made your first 100 grand or a million or whatever it is, like, are you loving it? Are you allowing yourself to really love it? Or are you in the attitude of like, this is so hard. Everybody's online right now. I can't do it. Like, what is your attitude? Like, do you need an attitude adjustment? I legit had to like give myself a little smack up the face and just like snap out of it. Cause I was a little bit like falling in when they were like, oh my God, it's so hard. And there's, Facebook ads. Some of them, their Facebook ads are ridiculously expensive. So I'm not denying the reality that things have changed. But for me, it's like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? So what is your attitude? So today, can you really find the kernel of having an amazing attitude for still the best opportunity on the face of the earth? You creating a business that can fund a life that you adore. That's what I want to help you do. Lead a life uncommon. So get out of the common bullshit of complaining. That's being common because everybody does it. Most people will not do the uncommon thing to have the level of success that you desire to have the life that you want, period. And sometimes I fall asleep. So I'm saying like, I'm back in like, hopefully you can feel it. Cause this is me not even on coffee, you guys. I'm like so pumped out of my mind for 2022. I have so many amazing things I just want to pour into you. I'm psyched. Can't wait to meet some of you and then re-engage with some of you. And then finally, what's your reaction? What is your reaction versus what is your response? So the fear breakthrough formula, FEAR, what are your feelings? And I want you to think about, what are my feelings of excitement around fill in the blank, my goal, my desire, my wish, the thing I want. So what is your reaction versus are you in response mode? Those are very distinctly different. So we can when we're in reaction, it's usually coming from the old stuff, right? It's coming from old stories. It's like, it's almost like your subconscious mind just kicks in and you unconsciously react in a certain way. I know we've all had that, right? How many times have you yelled at your kid and then you feel bad, or you yelled at your husband, or like you were just like, before you know it, you're on a call with a friend and they're like, meh, 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 and you're all bitching. Versus something that happens, what's your response? A response can be cultivated. You can cultivate your ability to respond thoughtfully. So back to the 7 mistakes, right? How I've built my business is I fell off the wagon, so to speak, of really practicing this fear breakthrough formula. So you've heard me talk about other ways that I helped you and other exercises, whether it's the MADE formula and I don't know, it's all formula, I guess, because I'm a clinician by background. The MADE formula or the results formula, which is all the cognitive behavioral, right? What you think about, you bring about. But this fear breakthrough formula, this fear, looking at it this way, it gives you another lens to look at. Right? Sometimes when we do the results formula and it's like, here's the situation, what's your thought, what's your feeling, what's your behavior, what's the result? Sometimes it's hard to think a new thought. Think a new thought so you can feel a new feeling, so you can have a new behavior. It's hard to do that sometimes. So sometimes it's easier to figure out what's going on by using the acronym FEAR and really having that breakthrough. So again, I'm going to do it one more time for you. And I would love for you all to think about how this is applicable to your life. Send me a direct message, send me an email, break it down. I'm going to type it in the comments right now so that you have it. It's fear breakthrough formula. I think I have this. Hold on. I have this in a gift for you. marybicknell.com/gifts with an S. And I have it written down. I'm sorry, I totally wigged on that. Let me go ahead and type this in. I'm going to go ahead and let me do this right now so that it's marybicknell.com/gifts. So that's actually the entire process. That it gives you that and your hidden guide, the guide to your hidden thoughts around money and success. So marybicknell.com/gifts, the fear breakthrough formula. Yeah, I think, oh my God, I can't believe I totally forgot that when I showed up this morning. I was so focused on sharing with you. So the fear breakthrough formula, go get it at the Mary. Okay. .com. All right, let me go over this. I'm going to tell you back to, there you go. So when I've thought about expanding my business or I've thought about tweaking my business, reinventing myself. I'm very much like that. Here's what I want to give to you. I had some fear around this. So this is why this is so appropriate today. Is like when I've evolved and I've wanted to tweak my business, like I said, reinvent my business, there was this moment that I asked myself, am I sabotaging myself? Like, is this something that I'm doing deliberately, like to undermine myself and screw myself? And I realized no. And maybe you're a no also. I personally, my whole career, and this is even when I was younger, right? My whole working life, I like to shake things up. I used to work at a temp agency as a clinician, and I would go for different hospital to hospital, hospital to hospital. One of the jobs I had is I was the director for behavioral training for 25 different nursing homes across Baltimore. So I would get in my car and I used to drive 30,000 miles a year and I would go from nursing home to nursing home, and I had a variety. So personally, I like having variety. Now, for some people, they don't want variety. So when you're thinking about variety, here's the good part for me. The good part is it allows me myself to be creative. I get to come up with new ideas. I get to be in different circles and do different things, whether it's just on stage or right here with you right now live, or somebody's going to watch me over on YouTube, and like the variety. Love that. For some people, it might trigger anxiety because it's constantly, in a sense, feeling new. I personally love that. But you know what? Back to one of the mistakes I made, I didn't trust that part of myself, that this is just how I operate. Once I had this as a real moment the other day, like this is when I'm thinking about these 7 mistakes, like that was a mistake I made, not really loving the way I love to work. Instead, here's the truth. I like the last 2 years, I've spent $50,000 in coaching. $50,000. And here's my takeaway. I'm tired of listening to other people tell me how I should do this. I'm like, I never like I listen with like at one ear, and then I go do whatever the hell I want to do. And whenever I do whatever the hell I want to do, it's always successful. And so now in my mind, it's like, of course, I'm always successful when I do what I want to do. Now, I'm not saying, thank you for the love for that. I'm not saying don't be inspired or influenced. And of course, I've gotten plenty. These are brilliant women that I hired. So I've definitely got my return on investment back. I've met amazing people. I've learned more about myself. And even if the learning about myself is like, I don't want to do it the way other people do it. And it's the same with me working with you. If you were one of my clients, whether you're in a life coaching or success mentoring or even one of my business, it's like at the end of the day, this is your business. And I want you to do things the way you want to do them. Is there some framework? Yes. And take what you want and leave the rest. So the $50,000 I've spent over the last 2 years, that's what I've done. I've taken pieces that I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. And then I've been like, no. And it was so clear the other day. I was being coached by someone, and I just was like, I was like she was trying to pigeonhole me into this like little tiny box. And I was just like, I don't want to be pigeonholed. And I don't want to pigeonhole you. Here's an example, because this is always the example. Like when you're scaling, how should you scale? People are always like, what exactly should I do? What exactly program should I have? Should I do 90 days, 6 months, 1 year? Should I do, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000? I don't pigeonhole you. I don't want to pigeonhole you. I want you to be madly in love with your business. I want you to try things, because you're not going to know until you try. And you need to know how you work best. Now, I know when you're newer, like, of course, you have to have some frameworks. Then you have to try it. And then you can make decisions based on your attempts, your actions, the results that you've had. Then we have information. But if you're out there and you've had your business for a while and you're trying to get pigeonholed into all the things that they're telling you to do a webinar, do this, do that, and you're like, I don't want to do that. What about trusting yourself? Now, some people are like, but Mary, I have to make income. Great. Let's figure out one strategy where you can have some predictability around your instability with your income, and then be creative in your other areas. Well, let me give you an example for myself so that you can see how this plays out. So for the longest time, I had like a year-long mastermind. I had these amazing, brilliant women, and I just love all my clients, and I'm grateful for them. And then I realized I don't want to do anything for a year. And then I had another longer program. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Here's how I personally like to work. And this is right now. And I'm going to tell you that might change. Give me a year or two. And it's okay that if I change my mind in a year or two, that doesn't mean that this is wrong today. So personally, here's my favorite ways to work with people. One is I love a VIP day. Have you ever done a VIP day? Have you ever done a VIP day? That is like, that's how my brain works. I want it all like, here you go. Here's the complete map. I do this with my life coaching clients and with business consulting clients. We all start like that. So that's how I like, because that's how my brain actually works. I want the plan. Here's another way I like to work in like 6 or 9 week increments in a group program. I don't like anymore. I'm not going to run any more long groups with like 20 people for a year. That's a lot of energy personally for me to just be shored up for a year. I'm not doing that anymore. What I love to do with my private clients is typically I work with them between 4 and 6 months. I'd start with a VIP day, then it's 4 to 6 months because I push them and press them. And by the end of 6 months, they're done. Like they've got the how to do their goals. Now, I have clients that circle back maybe after a year or something like that because they've gone on and they've done the things and now they're ready for something, the next level. So my point with you is, and I know it's a lot today, and so thank you for letting me share all this. Like I was away, I've been really thinking about 2022 and what I'm looking forward to and what I'm looking to create. And so I want to really just support you in giving yourself permission to create the business that you want, that you can like walk into your office and be in that place of like humble gratitude, that you get the opportunity to work with people all over the world. So like you all are watching and I appreciate you. And I know that some of you will be watching their replay and I appreciate you. And I want you to hear my heart. And I want you to hear me telling you the truth when I'm so direct with you. It's because I see what's happening out in the world and they're bullshitting you. And I want to tell you all the mistakes I've made so that you can perhaps not make them or at least have them in your mind. So go get the Fear Breakthrough Formula. Oh, okay, look, I got my hair colored. I feel like myself again. Boom, 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 boom. What are you doing to feel good about yourself? What are you feeling? What are you doing? Next week, if you're watching this live in real time, today is November, what is today? The 8th? Is that right? No, I'm sorry. Today's November 9th. Next week, November 15th through the 19th, I'm doing the 5-day visibility, social media visibility challenge. I'm going to be talking a lot about really what are we needing today? We're needing more connection. So that's what we're doing. Over on the podcast, I am on Lead a Life Uncommon podcast. So on Mondays, remember, there's a little bit of biz bites. And then on Wednesdays, there's personal development. And I've got a whole roster of people coming up that I'm interviewing. So if you know somebody who has an amazing story to share, something that they did to transform, big or small, but you know there's resonance there for the audience and the other amazing women just like you, can you pop me an email? I would love an introduction. You know, my goal, my personal goal in 2022, and I hope that you're thinking about your goals, and I hope that you have your year mapped out, which I do. I'll show it like, I'm actually doing a big workshop. Nobody knows, like I haven't even put this public except right now. In December, I'm doing a workshop on prepping for 2022. So, you know, keep somewhere, looking for that. But one of my goals in 2022 is having more of a community and making more friends all over the world. I don't know about you, but the introvert that I am, I can get very narrow and just like in my own like mind and like house. And 2022 is I want to have clients fly out to work with me again. I want to have groups come here again. I love when that happened. And it's been so long with COVID. I have a beautiful home. I love when I've had people come over to do vision boards or clients fly in or a group of women fly in for a weekend working together. So I'm doing that and making some friends all across the world because I don't know about you. I love me a good spa day. And I want to have more girlfriends who can just say, who can drop something and say, hey, let's go next month to Scottsdale and go spend the weekend at the best spa. Like, what's your goal for 2022? I hope that you're thinking about them. And I hope that you believe that you can bust through your fear and make things happen because you deserve to lead a life uncommon. Mwah! Enjoy the rest of the day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.